So I'm about to begin the Shadowology Creativity Challenge, and the first thing I did was I found something to draw on. Now, if you don't have paper, you could even take like a packaging container and cut that apart and use the inside of that, like a food container or cereal box or something like that. When you're picking your objects, you want to really think about unique shapes. So things that aren't just round, that have some different curves or edges to it. And the first thing that I started to do was I also turned off all the other lights in my room. I do have like a desk lamp here that I'm using to kind of help give me a strong light source. You could choose to do this challenge outside when it's really sunny. In fact, that's how the artist started doing this challenge. But the first thing I did was I started to place some different things here to see how the shadows would change. And so like I started this one here and I didn't like it, but then when I flipped it over, I liked the shadows that I started to get with that were more interesting. Or here, and I found a lot of things in my kitchen, but like here was a potato masher, and I was liking the like squiggly lines that I was seeing here. I was surprised. I thought the whale would be a good one. It does have some interesting shapes to it, but it's so big I have a hard time fitting it on my paper, so I'm probably going to pick something else. I thought the top of the pineapple could be interesting, but it looks like more of a blob shape. Now, something else to keep in mind, think about where your light is at, because if you move it, it can change the shapes that you're seeing. So like here with the pineapple, when the light's right over it, not so interesting, but like when I move it away, now it's a lot more interesting to look at. Now for me, the one that came to mind was this one. So when I looked at the pacifier here from my son, I noticed that the shadow itself to me looks like a mouth, and then I'm seeing teeth where there are openings there within the pacifier. So I wanted to do a drawing that fit what the object was too, that connected back to the object. So I'm going to kind of place it here on my paper, and I'm just going to roughly kind of sketch around where the shadow is. I'm eventually probably going to erase that, but just to kind of give me some guidelines to stay within. And then I might even include where I'm seeing the teeth shapes here, because what I have found is it is kind of hard to draw while your object is in place. Now you can try to do that. So if I wanted to, I could leave this in place and start to sketch the baby's head, but what I found is I end up bumping it too much. So I'm going to move it out of the way, so that way I can get a nice round shape here. If you want to, you can go back over it with a pen or a Sharpie to help it stand out. Okay, now this next step, you don't have to do this, but I want to, just to help it stand out with the shadow a little bit more. And now I don't want any of my lines to show up in the shadow, so I'm gonna take and really erase right there. So I'm trying to get rid of any of my pencil lines since I decided to finish it in Sharpie, just so that way the focus is entirely on the design and the shadows. Let's see if I can kind of see my placement here. I can kind of adjust it with the light. And there you have my final one.